Are you actually driving your life? Or are you just a highly predictable puppet repeating the exact same emotional habits for a decade and calling it fate? If you lean in and listen closely, your mind will initiate a silent coup while you sleep, a psychological takeover that most people exhaust their entire lives failing to force while awake. Niccolò Machiavelli famously understood that the world is divided into the rulers and the ruled. But before you can conquer external kingdoms, you must first master the unseen territory within your own mind. The illusion of the mask, that twilight state, is exactly where your current fragile identity loses its grip. That is where your dormant ambitions, your rawest desires, and your hunger for control rise to the surface. This is where the subconscious mind becomes entirely programmable. And tonight, you are going to seize control of that programming. We are not relying on cheap hypnosis, fragile fantasies, or the toxic delusion of fake positivity. This is a process of cold, calculated psychological reconditioning. Look closely at your current reality. It is not an accident, nor is it random. Machiavelli warned that those who cannot adapt their policy to the times are doomed to ruin. If you leave your unconscious mind completely unmonitored, it will dictate the trajectory of your life, and you will foolishly call it fate. Your daily life is currently being orchestrated by hidden, repetitive emotional loops operating entirely beneath your awareness. The way you calculate risk, the way you react under pressure, the precise manner in which you speak to yourself, the silent boundaries of what you secretly believe you deserve. All of it forms the invisible prison of your current reality. The strategic truth: most people never break free from this cage. They repeat the exact same emotional habits for decades, rehearsing the same anxieties, succumbing to the same doubts, and accepting the same limitations. They wake up one day only to realize they were merely a pawn in someone else's game. Demolishing the complacent persona, something incredibly dangerous happens when you feed your subconscious a powerful, disruptive new signal. The old, compliant identity begins to collapse. At first, this psychological shift will feel deeply uncomfortable. You might experience waves of restlessness, emotional volatility, or a sudden cold detachment from certain people, habits, and past versions of yourself. Do not mistake this friction for failure. This is the beginning of your internal conquest. The mind cannot harbor two competing masters for long. Eventually, one must destroy the other. Tonight, you are going to feed your subconscious a lethal dose of strategic reality. You do not attract what you wish for. You attract what feels familiar to your nervous system. This is precisely why weak individuals sabotage their own massive opportunities. It is why they crawl back to toxic people who hurt them, why monumental success feels unnatural to them, and why absolute peace makes them look over their shoulder. The untrained mind always retreats to what it considers home, even if that home is a dungeon of its own making. Tonight, we fundamentally redefine what home feels like. For the next few minutes, do not attempt to force belief. Do not overanalyze. Do not resist the text. Simply observe. Repetition right before sleep bypasses the conscious gatekeepers of the human mind. As your logical defenses weaken, your inner world opens up, allowing entirely new strategic patterns to take root. The shift from survival to expansion. Think about how the masses prepare for sleep. They lie in bed feeding themselves digital poison, scrolling mindlessly, absorbing collective anxiety, comparing their lives to others, and obsessing over unchangeable failures. Then they wonder why their status never improves. Your brain is a silent intelligence that never stops listening, and its most vulnerable window is the hour before sleep. The final emotional frequencies you carry into the dark, become the direct marching orders for your subconscious mind. Tonight, you are issuing entirely different commands. This shift is not magical. It is a calculated, behavioral, and psychological realignment. You will begin to think like a strategist without even trying. You will naturally lose your craving for cheap dopamine-filled distractions. Your intuition will sharpen into a weapon. Your emotional volatility will flatten into cold composure. You will spot massive leverage points that you completely ignored in the past. Reality does not respond to desperate wishes. It responds exclusively to identity. Tonight, we permanently interrupt the submissive pattern. Your nervous system is going to stop rehearsing survival and start engineering ruthless expansion. We do not achieve this by pretending you are flawless or by ignoring real pain. We achieve it by proving to your subconscious that stepping into a life of immense power and high status is entirely safe. Walking into the abyss of the self, people do not actually fear success. They fear the unfamiliarity of happiness and power because it feels dangerous to an uncalibrated nervous system. The human body will desperately cling to familiar suffering rather than step into unfamiliar territory. Tonight, you are not merely visualizing a better life. You are making yourself emotionally compatible with raw power. As your eyes grow heavy, stop identifying with the exhausted, defeated version of yourself, the version engineered by past disappointments, comparison, and regret. That is not your final form. It is merely the byproduct of old psychological conditioning, and any conditioning can be overwritten. Breathe slowly. Shed the noise of the day. Let your body sink. While the rest of the world sleeps in ignorance, your internal reality is reorganizing its power structure. The path to true sovereignty does not begin with an act of gentle construction. It begins with a radical, uncompromising act of psychological demolition. Modern society conditions us to worship the frantic hustle, the superficial brand, and the public display of progress. We are told to constantly stack on more skills, more shallow accolades, and a more polished facade. But a true master of psychology knows that the path to absolute self-governance requires the exact opposite. It requires a descent into the dark, a complete dissolution of your public mask, breaking down your existing psychological structure until it is reduced to its rawest elements. Facing the primal internal critic, the first step away from the crowd, is the most terrifying moment of the entire journey. You must strip away the labels, the comfortable excuses, and the superficial branding. You must comfortably become no one before you can emerge as the ruler of your destiny. As you submerge into these dark waters, the sheer pressure of the deep begins to peel away the false layers of your identity. You will feel a heavy sense of time running out, the haunting anxiety that you have wasted years living by other people's rules, and that you are falling behind. This feeling is not a sign of failure. It is the friction of your ego losing its tyrannical grip on a false narrative. The ego is a desperate storyteller, and it is currently watching its favorite character, your passive social identity, dissolve into the ocean. It will scream. It will try to terrify you into swimming back to the safety of the miserable struggle you know. But you must remain in the deep. In this silence, you will confront your internal critic in its most primitive form. Without the social mask to hide behind, every doubt you have ever suppressed will rise like toxic gas. The critic will whisper that you are absolutely nothing without your external achievements. It will tell you that independence is a delusion and that you are destined to fail. Do not waste energy arguing with these thoughts. Argumentation is a defensive tool of a weak ego, and it only feeds the shadows. Instead, practice the cold art of radical observation. Notice the thoughts, acknowledge the fear, but realize with absolute clarity that the force within you which is observing the fear is not the entity that is feeling it. reclaiming the power of the shadow in this precise gap between the observer and the observed. You discover the indestructible core of your soul, the eternal witness that exists completely independent of your social standing or your internal emotional weather. The void is not an empty vacuum. It is an alchemical chamber. By letting the mask dissolve, you clear the crowded temple of your mind. Most people live in a state of internal overcrowding. They are so stuffed with other people's opinions, societal standards, and old traumas that there is literally no room for a sovereign leader to take a seat at the table. The destruction of the mask is a calculated clearance. On the surface, your value was tied to your constant doing, your frantic productivity, and your pathetic ability to please the crowd. In the deep waters, you learn the terrifying power of absolute being. You discover a fundamental, archetypal value that has nothing to do with what you produce or what the masses think of you. This is the exact birthplace of internal sovereignty. You realize that even in total darkness, even when you have no public plan and the world cannot see you, you are stripping away the human doing to expose the raw power of the human being. This stage reaches its climax in a state of absolute psychological nakedness. You have run out of stories. You have no more excuses for why you are the way you are. The past has been washed away by the tide, and the future is not yet visible. There is only the silence, the pressure of the water, and the steady, rhythmic thump of your heartbeat. This is the absolute zero point. It is your most vulnerable moment, and paradoxically, your most lethal. Vulnerability is the prerequisite for total transformation. Because when you have nothing left to lose, you are finally free to seize everything. You look into the abyss and realize it is not an enemy, but a mirror reflecting your infinite untapped potential. Integrating the strengths of the soul, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Having completely silenced the ego's anxious chatter, you now possess the stability to look into the abyss without blinking. In the polite world of the masses, your shadow is your unlived life. It is the collection of all the raw traits, driving desires, and immense capacities you were ordered to suppress in order to be a good, compliant citizen. You were told your anger was dangerous, so you traded it for a passive-aggressive niceness that constantly leaks your personal power. You were told your ambition was greedy, so you hid it behind a pathetic mask of humble service. You were told your unique weirdness was a liability, so you buried your most revolutionary, disruptive ideas. Imagine your shadow as a massive high-voltage battery of untapped electrical energy. For decades, you have tried to power your grand ambitions with a tiny, flickering candle of conscious effort. No wonder you felt exhausted and left behind. You were attempting to build an empire on a fraction of your true psychological capacity. By integrating your shadow, you plug your entire life into the main power grid of the human psyche. Establishing the bedrock of a sovereign reality, the marriage of these two internal forces creates a perfect, high-voltage circuit. When your logic serves your vision, and your discipline protects your joy, internal sabotage dies. You are no longer a house divided against itself. You move with a singular, terrifyingly calm purpose. The frantic anxiety of being behind or running out of time completely dissolves. Time becomes a resource you govern, not a master you run from. You are perfectly grounded in the present moment while systematically building for the future. You move from the anxious struggle of a seeker to the absolute certainty of a ruler. You have taken the raw, chaotic materials of your past, the discarded shadow, the silenced ego, and the fragmented aspects of your mind, and you have forged them into a single, cohesive identity. You feel a profound sense of invulnerability. This is not the loud, fragile arrogance of the ego, but the quiet confidence of a master. who has looked into their own depths and found no more enemies. You enter the phase of internal engineering. You begin to lay the heavy, load-bearing pillars of a life that can actually support the weight of your highest ambitions. The pillar of absolute authority.